G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Destro the Aussie Geek, and today we are looking at the Fans Toys Wright with a W, aka their Scavenger. So let me start by saying he's easier than he seems at first. If you watch any videos of how this guy transforms, he seems a little awkwardy. He does have some clearance issues in a little place, and you have to sometimes put a little bit more force than you would like. But it's not absolutely terrible once you've got it worked out. So yeah, here he is. He looks really, really nice. He's big and chunky. He does have an absolutely massive backpack. I didn't figure that they could figure out a way to actually hide all that at all. It also has a little hidey hole piece in there, which we'll get to in a little bit. But he does look pretty good. He does have one issue, at least mine does, that I don't know if it's just my copy or if it's in general. But if I take his gun out of his fingers, if I can get his fingers out of the way, he only has one tab piece, and I'm going to have a hell of a time focusing on this, I bet you. There we go. So here's his tab slot for his hand. The other side doesn't have it. So I initially was going to have this guy holding it in his left hand, but the friction's not quite strong enough, so I didn't bother. So we'll put that aside. As for other accessories, it does come with his trumpet, which just taps in here and taps into his palm. He does have his instructions and his card, completely unfocused and everything. So there's that. And that's pretty much it for accessories. All right, so like I said, he's big, he's chunky. The transformation isn't honestly that difficult. It's just a matter of figuring out how things are. There was a bit, well, yeah, it was a bit of fluff. But let's do articulation first. So head can do a full 360, which it really does need to, because otherwise the transformation wouldn't work. Can look up that far, can look down that far, no side to side. Arms can do a full 360. There feels like there was a bit of I think something's rubbing somewhere, because I don't think that's an actual ratchet. Arms go out that far. So you have ratcheted in and out. You have upper bicep rotation. If you want to use that, it's more for transformation, but do as you will. You have, I want to say, single jointed elbows that get you that far. You have wrist rotation. And since I had this one open, you have individual fingers. Pin here, but you get typewriter fingers. I don't know why they did that. The thumb does have a pin here and a ball joint there, but nothing at the inner finger. You do have, and it's rather awkward to do, but I'll just lift the side skirts up and move the scoop out of the way a little bit. You have ratcheted waist. The scoop literally just sits under there if you want it to. Side skirts up, legs go up that far. Go back that far, it hits these. You can fold these, but things are going to start rubbing against each other, so it's not really anywhere back. Legs go up this far, and you may pop a few things in here due to how his legs work. So just be aware of that. You have a teeny tiny bit of upper thigh rotation. You have knee bend that gets you that far. You have ankle tilt that gets you that far. Nothing the other way. No toe up. You have sort of toe down. Oh, you go a little bit of toe up. But it's more the actual upper ankle that's moving. Ankle tilt moves as well. And that folds all the way down until things get in the way, but that is mostly for transformation. So we're going to start getting this guy from robot to to combine mode, because honestly, the steps it takes to get this guy from robot to alt and then alt to combine mode takes more steps. It is just easier to get him into combine mode first. So we'll start with that. All right, so we're going to rotate his head a full 360. You're going to come in here and you're going to flip this piece down, and that's just going to go over his head. You want to extend the arms like so. We are going to, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head, you want to flip this panel up. I'm going to have to get that shoulder untabbed at some point too. I'm just thinking. Okay, so we want, actually we'll leave that for a moment. We're going to get this shoulder unhinged, and it's a bit weird because it tabs in here, but you have sort of weird hook tabs that are also tabbed in. So just sort of angle the best you can to just get it to sort of pop out. Don't put too much force, but just enough that you can hopefully get things to untab. Come off out of there. There we go. Because it basically tabs in here, here, and here. So just bring that out. Do the same on the other side. So once again, we just got to try and get that to pop off that. And lift that up there. Actually, I might drop the camera a bit. And we'll just use him laying on the table to make it a little bit easier to see what I'm doing. So hopefully this is going to work. All right, so we're going to rotate his bicep around this way. Untab this. Now be careful because you're going to rotate this. You can leave the fist where it is, but it's probably going to go with you. So just around. I've seen two different ways of doing this. We have this way and we have the other way. I prefer the other way. Just because that way the back of the hand's going to sit on some things. We need to get the fingers out as far as we can get them. There's my tweezers to get in there to make it a little bit easier. I've got them in really nicely there. So fold that out like that. And the thumb can stay where it is. I do recommend putting, if you're going to do it like I'm doing, I do recommend having something under it. So we want to rotate this, untab that, rotate that around, and we'll twist this hand around. I've already got fingers out, so that's all right, and bring that thumb down like so. Then we're going to grab this piece and bring that down. That does rub a little bit here, so just be wary. Bring this side down too. That's going to pop that a little bit. So these are just tabbed in there. We want to bring all this up like so. And if you aren't seeing it already, we do have our fist. So what we're going to do is there's little tabs into here. Just sort of fold out like so. And then we can take the fist out. And we'll put that aside for the moment because we won't need it. All right, so let's do our legs. Now, this is a bit of an awkward step, no matter which way you're going to go. You need to get this popped down. Now, I'm going to use my tweezers simply because it's the only one that I've trusted with enough force and I can't find my part separator. You want it as far down as possible. It's just a matter of being careful where you're putting things and pressure and stuff. I don't know if I've got that far enough out. So yeah, just be careful, and I think I'm actually bending that already. All right, I might have popped it out just enough to do what I want to do. All right, so we're going to bring our legs out like so, just to give us some clearance. You just move those up. We're also going to fold these in to give us a bit more. All right, so the feet are a bit of a fiddle, and I do mean a bit of a fiddle. So you're going to fold the heels in. You want to move these out of the way. And we need to pop a couple of spots. So we need to, I'm trying to remember how to do this. So lift, basically bend the knee, but then you have to pop this down like so, right? And that will give you enough clearance so you can get this panel up if you can get your fingers in the right spot. And then we can rotate our feet in all the way. They will be a pain to get out later, but such is life. And we can pop that back in for now, but we're not finished with it. So same one here, bend the knee, bring it down a bit so that pops off. Get that panel up, which, like I said, this is where things are a bit wonky and iffy. I'm sure once it's been done more than a few times, you can probably easy to get out. Fold that in there, and we can fold that down. And we can pop that back in place. All right, so where am I going next? We need to bring his legs together. So what we're going to do is we're going to bend the leg straight up. And just under here, you have this sort of nubbin. Grab that and untab that. Bring it back. Fold it back on itself. So you need to basically get his knee back where it was. Like so. Bring this back. Might have to bring his hip down a little bit just to give me a bit of clearance. Or maybe I don't have that piece in the right spot. Far enough down. But basically I need to rotate it into here. So bring that back, fold that in, fold that around, and then you have this tab, which is what we popped off, that goes down and flat. Right, and then we do the same thing on the other side. So we bend the knee, find this nubbin, untab that, bring the knee back down again, fold it at the double hinge, bring this back, try to deal with some clearance, bring this down, and that will tape in there. All right, now we're going to bring his legs all the way down. Now, like I said, I don't think I have this piece here far enough down. So, see if I can wiggle it a bit. Because there's hinges in here, because you basically need to get this hinge here down. So, just get these out of the way for now. Try to get, there we go, that's one. But yeah, I haven't got this far enough down to actually do what I need. So, we'll use that. So I need a little bit more clearance. So I haven't got anywhere far enough down. Because basically this is our elbow. I think I got it. Did I get it? Almost. Might have to rotate it. I'll bring his hips down. So basically there's our elbow joint there. So we'll bring that down. So this is basically slid back in. It's rotated around. Bring this down. I'll try to get the hinge to come down. Come on. There we go. Almost. Come on. There we go. Then we can tab that together. Don't think I'm missing any steps. At least I hope I'm not. least not yet. All right, so I'm going to bring these back down again because I'm still going to, I think I need to still do some work with these. All right, so that's all tabbed together. All right, so we're going to lift this up. And this is a little awkward in both modes, but it is something that you need to do. So we bring these down because these are going to actually be our tracks. And what you need to do is you need to bring this in. This is going to tab into here, I think. Oh, that's right. I have missed a step. Thought so. So you have a spinner. So it has to spin here and here. So I'll do my best to try and show that. I kind of forgot. So it's got to roll up here. Then very carefully, you need to try to keep it from moving. And roll that around there. There we go. Do the same thing on the other side. So bring it around. And then it's just a matter of trying to find somewhere to put your finger so you can get the other half. There we go. You need to keep your shoulders nice and flat. So hopefully they're not bending anyway. All right, back to where I was up to. All right, so we need, where are we? I think I've got it quite, yep. All right, so this is going to come in. Now, you have, once again, like I was saying, this tab here that's going to go on here. So you're going to have to fiddle with this a little bit to get it to where you need to. But you will find it's hard to get in here because this little tab has to actually angle into here. So I'll see how I go. So fold up. As you can see, my shoulders moved, so it's in the wrong spot. So shift that in, angle it a little bit. I'll lift the camera up a little bit and see a little bit closer, so that hopefully you'll be able to see it. So you basically have to angle it in. I didn't know that much. Angle it in so it gets behind this piece here. Then when that's done, as long as things are lining up where they're supposed to, you should be right. Trying to keep things out of the way. So there we go. So that goes there. Don't worry about your hands. It'll be fine for now. Same up here. Once again, I've got my shoulder going. So rotate that in. This is easier in doing this for combine mode than it is for alt mode. I'll tell you that. All right, so we're going to bring this down. Make sure that these pieces stay unfurled. This is going to all come down. These are going to tab into here. These are going to tab into here. And then we'll work on the back scoop. So this all comes down and tab in. Oh, we can do that first just to keep things a little bit more secure. So you have these two tabs that are going to two tabs underneath. Just articulate that until they're lined up. So that way they're no longer loosey-goosey, like so. Once again, make sure that's tabbed in. Keep all these extended. I'm going to fold this up now, once again. Press that down to hold it nice and secure. You're then going to bring these panels down and they are going to interlock with these ones. Hopefully. There we go. Take a couple of extra presses if need be. There we go, that went well and nicely. All right, we're going to turn this way. Whoops. Is that the right way? Nope, I think I turned it the wrong way. I was going to say that scoop's probably in my way. There we go. I probably should have positioned that before I did some things. So there you go, against there, like so. So that should be our elbow. Yep. All right, so they can come down here. All right, now before we get to the fist, so we have. All right, so we have the back O part, or whatever you want to call it. You want to flip these down. Just bring this out a little bit. Now, this is fiddly as all hell. You may have to reposition it. But you want to flip this out just to the side. You will need this sitting forward. And now that I've done what I've done, I don't know if I'll be able to show how that works. I'll just bring around a little bit. So this joint is super dumb tight. You will have to fiddle with things until you can get it down here, because these side pieces here need to go in these gaps. So just be aware of that. Which way am I going? I'm going this way again. Trying to figure out what I think it's these pieces I keep brushing against. Anyway, so you want to collapse that and then it'll fit through for the most part. I'm worried about a little bit of rub in there. You can move your scoop around, close that, and where is it? There it is, the scoop at the top. So you can flush that if you want. It's up to you how you want to position that. All right, not quite done with the transforming. Now we got the fist. Now I've popped this last time, and yeah. So we're going to rotate this around. We want to bring this out and get your fingers in, and you want to push the hand forward. Some things may fight against you. Oh, I need to do that too. Before you go all the way, make sure you rotate that around. So at least it's where it's supposed to be, sort of. Doesn't really help too much, but as long as it's not in there before you get the hand all the way in. So press that, and I think I've almost popped it out again. Bring that down. And I knew I was going to do that again. All right, we'll get that, try to get that back in. There we go. I don't know how taxing that's going to be on that, but yeah, iffy. All right, so we want to slide it down. I think it's slide down. Slide down, slide up. I think it's slide up. So that locks the hand in place. You want to try and get your fingers inside here. You have these nut pieces that need to come down. So 1, 2, and the top ones go up. Easier said than done. What's in my way? Is this one going to move for me? Why aren't you going anywhere? It's probably because of the way I've got my fist sitting. There we go, that's 1 and 2. All right, so this is going to press all the way in. It's going to be awkward, but that basically needs to lock into the gaps in these spots here. So as long as I don't have the fist in the right spot, so it's got to go up. Then things go clickety clackety. So the bottom one's in place, the top one's not. So there we go. that is a pain in the ass to get out of again. So just be aware of that. We want to flip this out. We want to flip this out. And I think I've already got that piece flipped out. All right, so now we're going to add it to the arm. So you have these two pieces that are going to go into these. So they slide in and they lift up. Now also these pieces are going to not want to slide past the outer pieces. So you just have to move them around until they are where you want them. And then I'm in and slide up like so. And then you have these nubbins around, and that's where your your forearm's going to tab into if things are lining up like they're supposed to. We'll get that one in place. And you lining up. How about over here? There we go, there's one. Where is it? There it is. Come on. Why don't you want to line up? I might not have got that piece all the way up. And that goes over that and locks that in place. Like so. And there is Scavanger in his combine mode. So, looks pretty good. Pretty damn decent size. Pretty decent heft too. So, we might as well do the articulation in this mode just in case it is very awkward in the actual, when we combine him. So, we have no idea how the shoulder is going to attach. I'm assuming it's using this piece, but that doesn't move to my knowledge. If it does, I'm not forcing anything. So we have our ratcheted bicep rotation. We have our elbow bend that's actually a double elbow because you have the actual hips and you have this joint. I think that keeps moving on me. So you do have that. We have ratcheted wrist rotation. We have pinned knuckles and fingers. Just be careful, you can't quite extend it all the way without rotating it first. So just be aware of it, but you have pin here, pin here, pin here, so pin each finger. You of course have rotation at your thumb, of course pin and pin. And you also have out and in. So, and you have spread. So there we go. Now, let's do our first size comparison. Here he is with Combiner Wars Scavanger. So as you can see, it's a pretty decent size change, if I do say so myself. And just for the hay, here it is with Windblade. So there we go. Right, let's get him into alt mode. So pretty much we've got a good portion done, but we are going to have to sort of reposition certain things. So we're going to take the hand off and slide down to unclip it. There we go. Like so. We can put that aside. So we might as well deconstruct the hand. Easier said than done. Now I do want to make sure my fist... I didn't realize there was a rotation. Oh, that makes sense. I'm imagining things. Anyway, so I'm just going to try and squish my hand up as much as possible because I need to get it back in his back. So that way you can actually see how the transformation works. Now, the hard thing is getting this untabbed because now it's locked in to 4 corners. So I'm going to try, and I don't think pushing against it's really going to help. So I'm just trying to think of the best way to get in there because I can't really flip anything over. So what I might do is once again get my tweezers and just see if I can get in this gap enough that I can, yep, there we go. Pop things out. We're going to get back in here, and these pieces that we flip down and up, we put them back without hopefully breaking too much. Not that I've broken anything on it, but still, like so. We can just slide that in for the moment, fold these in. Now we're going to bring the wrist back and rotate this over. We can want the fist all the way in. Now I think I've got my thumb slightly in the wrong spot. Oh, there we go, I got it. Just press back as far as possible. And then this is just going to sit down here. Nothing really tabs into place. So we put the fist to the side. All right, so let's get this all... Ironically, a good portion of it's already been done. So we want to... Sometimes this is why I think to myself, I really do need a bigger camera so I can actually show better. But we're going to flip these back down. I suppose if you really wanted to, you could use them for alt mode. I don't know if that's intended, but take it for what it is. We are going to straighten that out a bit. Now I'm just trying to think which way I need this. I need this rotated this way. We are going to untab this. We're going to untab this. We're going to bring the scoop back out again. And we can't lift all that because this is all tabbed in. So unfurl that one and unfurl that. Just be careful of your hands. And we can lift this up. Now, I'll show it this way because I should have done it earlier. But as you can see, this doesn't want to move. You basically have to try and get your fingers in the right spot without breaking too much to extend this. So before you try transforming it too far, try to get this so it lines up like this. If you can get like that, you'll get things where they're supposed to go. It is just very, very tight. It is very, very hard to get a screwdriver in there. So I think that's just going to be wear and tear until you can get where you want it. Right, that folds back in, filling in that gap because we don't need it no more. Now, I'm just trying to... yeah, we'll have to move the arms anyway. All right, so we're going to move these arms. So you're going to fold out and untab up here. You don't have to do anything else. The shoulders are exactly how we want them. All right, we're going to fold these down for now. We might as well put the fist back. So fist like this, just straight in his back. You're going to bring these up and tab them into here. So just fold in and tab in the hole. So this is the hole. That's your tab. Like so. And we're going to leave that like that for the moment because I need to deal with these legs first. All right. So I'm going to split the legs. And I'll lift these up for now. And I need to get them hinged out. So they hinge out easier. So imagine you're trying to do an old G1 torso. So as you can see, it's come straight all the way out. That's exactly what we need. All right, so this can come back. Yeah, that can come back down. I feel it's rubbing against these too. All right, we want to bring this tab back up. Same on the other side, because we need to put the legs back together. We want to bring this over and get that knee bent so we can get back to here. Bring this down and just lock that back in. Same on the other side. Try to get the knee to bend. Easier said than done. Come on. There we go. The material's sturdy, but everything worries me when it comes to these high expensive figures. All right. So we bring all that way down, all that way down. All right. So what we're going to do next is we're going to rotate this around. So rotate here. And we can bring this up and fold that in. And so that creates the back of the track. Same on this side. Collapse that, locks that in there. And what we can do is, if our legs are in the right spot, you have this port here. I don't know if you can see it. This port here is going to tab into here. So if things aren't lined up properly, then chances are your leg's in the wrong spot. So I need to get my hips up a bit more. I'm just looking. Yep. No, I am way. I bet you it's because I haven't put my elbow back. So get that rolling. I'll just spread those legs a little bit because I don't want to scratch those front skirts. There we go. That's got that back where it's supposed to be. And bring it back. And make sure things are lining up where they're supposed to. This is where things can get a little bit fiddly. There we go. That's one. And that's two. So they're tabbed in. All right, we're almost done. What we want to do is, once again, we want to put these back. But now we have these tabs that are going to these ports, which is part of the combine gimmick. The thing is, now we have to get this tab under there, but we don't have finger room. So basically you need to sort of just angle it a little bit, slide it under, and you'll have to feel for those tabs. And what's going to happen is this port here has to line up with here. So I've got that one, I think. Probably not quite far enough. So I'm not sure if that port's gone all the way in. So we'll try it in a minute. So we'll try it with the other side. It's the same thing. I'm going to angle it a little bit. Things may rub a little bit. Get that in there. And push. And hopefully that's gone where it's supposed to go. I think I've pretty much got them where I want. I'm going to leave the fingers how they were, because I want to see if this works out this way. So this is going to come down. These are going to once again tab into here. These are going to come down. This is going to tab into here, and these will fold around. So bring down. Now, if you find you're fighting against something, it is most likely these. So your best bet, and rather worrying, is you have to basically get this piece past this bit of hinge. So just try your best. Now make sure my arms are where they're supposed to be. So it's just a matter of getting those plastic pieces under the body of the vehicle. Then making sure things line up, and that's untabbed. Come on. I don't think I've got them quite tabbed in far enough. I bet you, yep, I'm missing that top tab. So I need to get that in as far as I can and tab. Have I got that in there? I think I have. Check the other side. Make sure things are tabbed where they're supposed to be. All right, let's try this again. So bring that down. I think I've got over one. Might have over the other. No, I don't have over the other. My arms are still not quite tabbed in properly. This is the most awkward part, and I don't like grabbing onto these, but I haven't got too much of a choice. Just making sure my fist is the right way around. Yeah, it is. It's just very awkward, honestly. Actually, you know what? I do have that fist upside down. These should be further down. So that was my fault, partly. Yeah, I've got his fist up. I didn't think I had his fist up the wrong way. It's probably because I rotated his wrist. So now they're slightly in the... is it? No, it's got to go that way. So I did have the right way around. As you can see, that's, beg my pardon, lifting up a little bit, but that's how it is. Actually, that's probably what helps if I make sure these squeeze properly. I think they're supposed to actually tab in the top here at somehow, but I don't think they do. So let's try and get this in place again. All right, let me do this. I'll be right back. Okay, I think I figured out where I was screwing up. So I wasn't turning these hands, but I think the back of the hands was actually pressing against the pieces that hold this in place, because now I have a much closer tabbing point. So yeah, once again, probably it was definitely something I was screwing up. All right, so bring this down, and hopefully this will all tab where it's supposed to now. So it's just a matter of getting things to tab over, to slide over things. There we go. Try to bring that down as far as it'll go. So things are nice and secure. Get that tab in there. And that one's already got it in for me, so that's sweet. So I suppose if you want to do, you could bring these over. I think that actually might have been part of the transformation, but when I first looked at this, I didn't think that was a thing. So then we can bring these forward, and with the greatest of ease, probably do this after doing before doing the tracks, but just get your fingers in there and position it just so it's right. And then of course you can bring this down, rotate that back around, and there is Scavanger in his scoop mode, excavator mode. Which is funny because we did the, what's his name, Lego, and that was one of them. Now, there is one issue with this, and I wouldn't necessarily do it anyway because of, everything. He has no treads. These treads do not move. He has no fake wheels. So he cannot roll. He cannot rotate. Only the scoop can rotate, so we might as well do articulation for this. Now, because of this, and like I said, I either need to, actually, I'm going to unscrew this a little bit. Give me a second. Yeah, even doing a little bit of unscrewing didn't really help that much. So just be careful of that. Maybe once you've fiddled with it enough, this will loosen up enough and you'll be right. But I'm just not going to do it. So it can go back, as you know. You can bring it forward, and of course, if that thing is where it's supposed to, you can bring it down and you can actually dig things if you want. This doesn't move. It's all down to here. So there we go. But it does look good. It does look really good. He is a real good excavator. As for size comparison, of course, here he is with Windblade. So, yeah, not too far off in size-wise. And, of course, here he is with Combiner Wars Scavanger. So they look pretty damn close together. I think you can actually attach his gun in this mode. I just can't remember how, because this does slide up. So you can plug it in somewhere. I'm just not 100% sure where. So let me have a quick look in the instructions. Now, if you really wanted to, you could possibly leave the hand out. You just have some gappy spots. So let's see. Gun, where's the gun go? Show me where it's some accessories. Okay, that's weird. Also, apparently it's not just my figure, because it also only shows one side tab, but apparently you can, and we'll do it this way around. You have this port here, you fold this back, and that tabs into not. So it's supposed, no, it tabs into here. So that way he can shoot, I guess. But there's that. All right, let's get him back into robot mode. This has been a long video, but that's the joys of doing all three modes. All right, so we're basically going to undo everything we have done. So we're going to fold this out. We're going to fold this out. We might as well get this out of the way so I can just easily push. And forgot to fold these pieces in. If they're not folded in, we can't get it to lift. We'll fold those in for now, just so they're out of the way. Do we want to do the legs first? Oh yeah, let's do the legs first. So we're just going to untab that and bring that down. Untab that, bring that down. Actually, yeah, we'll get the arms partly out of the way first. So carefully, and like I said, I don't like grabbing these, but it's the only place you can really grab. You need to pull out or roll out. Just lift up the pebble pieces a little bit so you can get your fingers in there, and just need to get over that piece there. So you can probably get away a little bit with that if you don't have the hand in there. So we're just going to get them out of the way, and I'm just going to drop that for now so it doesn't smack into something. All right, let's do our legs. So we want to bring it down. We'll do it this way to make it a little bit easier. So we're going to bring it out. We want to untab this piece, just fold it back. Where are you? And it's going to go this way. So it hinges backwards. And we can do the same on this side. Just get your finger in there. That's going to hinge backwards. Now we'll leave his hips the way they are for now. You're going to have to pop these. So you want to bend up and then pop down. So we get this, and hopefully you can get that panel open without popping things back where it's supposed to be. Come on. There's just not enough. Oh, there. I go with that fingernail, but good Lord. Now, you've got to try and spin this around. I wish there was a bit more place to put your fingers. So we want to rotate that all the way around, close that up, pop that back, and fold that back, bring this down, and that gets us a leg. I'll deal with the heel in a second. So bend, pop down. There we go. Flip up, flip. Oh, there we go. That one did it. Oh, that was luck. Fold that down, pop that back, bring that down. Right. So let's do our hips. So this is our hip, if I remember correctly. Yep. Or is it this one? I can tell you my elbow's not far enough up. Now I think it's this one up here. So we need to bring that in. Oh yeah, no, that's it. So it's basically you're trying to get it on this joint here. So it does sort of thump, I suppose you could call it, into place. Just a matter of trying to get things to line up. Ooh, that rotated. That rotates. I'm not going into that part. Yeah, interesting. That rotates. All right. So heels, you do have a little nubbin here to bring your heels out if you've got enough of a thumbnail, like so. So we have him standing. You may have to play with that. There we go. You may have to play with his hips until they're where they're supposed to go. And I can turn this light off so it's not too glary. All right. So what we need to do here, and this is, once again, a more fiddly part. Also, get them out of the way. I'm going to bring these down. And we need to, once again, get them over here because these are going to tab into here. So if they don't sit properly, you just have to put some pressure on it. Be careful of that because that does not feel overly good. And the idea is these flip up. So they do rub a little bit. I'm not super comfortable, but just be careful. All right, so we got to do these arms that I completely forgot to show how to do properly at the start. So what we need to do is we need to get this tab back on here. So we need to rotate here. Rotate there. Yeah. Rotate here. So we have it all facing forward. Now we might be able to get away with it without turning the rest of the shoulder. So there is basically a little port here and a little port here. That's got to go in there. So it's basically down, clip in, and in. That's why it's an absolute pain in the ass to get it in the first place. Then we can bring our shoulder down, rotate at the bicep, rotate at the flap, fold that back, and that's where it's supposed to go. Same with the other one. Bring it down, rotate it around, and I'll keep it up to make it easier. Fold this down, try to get it in those two nubbins. There we go. Bring this down, rotate the bicep, rotate the flap. That goes back where it's supposed to be. And we're almost done. We fold this back as far as it'll go. We rotate our head. And there is Scavanger back in his robot mode. And of course, then you can flatten things here. I did have this under here, but I think I might have moved this a little bit. There we go. So I suppose if you wanted to, you could have it a little bit higher, but I think I've just pressed that up against the fist. Also, like I said, you could leave this out. Just gonna give that a press. You could leave this out, but he's gonna have a giant gap in his backpack. So just beware of that. So there we go. Now for final size comparisons, and I'm gonna sneeze. Right, on with the show. So size comparisons. Here he is with Fans Toys Gary, the scrapper. And honestly, he's more convoluted and complex than he is. So God help me when with Mixmaster and Long Haul. Here he is with MP36 Megatron, because Decepticons, so might as well show them with their leader. And last but not least, and I see if I can get Megs to stand on my side table properly. Here he is with Combiner Wars Scavanger. So there we go. Also, if I haven't said it yet, no 86 Devastator. I've already got 2 sets of these. I don't need a third, especially for the price point. So there we go. So yeah, not too bad a figure. He's a little fiddly. I'm worried about some clearance issues, but ultimately he will eventually end up in combine mode, and he will stay that way. And while I'm thinking of it, a quick peek. I know I'm extending the video far too long. So I'm assuming at some point that's going to slide up and sort of lock into place. I'm guessing, because the instructions don't actually tell you how he attaches. So yeah. So there we go. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. I promise you it will not hurt my feelings. Subscribe, ring that bell, leave me a comment. And apart from that, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.